Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Product of the Month training. And for those of you that are joining, my name is Louise Riley, and I am Soaring Manager, but also I am the advisory board member for the UK, Ireland, and Iceland. And it is my total pleasure to take you through the subjects for this month. And as you can see from the screen, it is about back to routine. And we're looking at reclaiming your well-being with Forever Living products. And I'm going to start off by just kind of focusing on thinking about why routine matters. Now, the first thing is that the reason that we're doing routine now is because maybe some of you have already started your summer holidays. Depending where you live, school summer holidays can actually commence in June. And then in the UK, they actually start in July. And so for some of you, you might have already in the swing of things of being on holiday and just thinking about whether you are starting in the middle of holidays or thinking about further ahead. That one of the challenges that we have when we have been on holiday, it can be quite difficult to get ourselves back into routine. Now, for me personally, I actually have recently come back from being away for 2.5 weeks, and it was absolutely fantastic. I had a wonderful, wonderful time being away. But then it really is, we kind of feel that we get to that point and we want to get back into that routine. Why? Well, yes, it is great overindulging. It is great being able to make those decisions to think, yeah, I'm going to throw caution to the wind and I'm going to eat and drink and kind of just let my guard down a little bit. But it can start to take a toll on things like our skin, on our sleep, and especially our digestive system. Now, one of the things that is quite good to understand is that when we have been away and we're overindulging and for a short period of time, and we're talking about weeks, then our body is very, very resilient. It can actually adjust back very quickly. And I know that some people kind of worry when they go on holiday and thinking, oh, I'm going to put on a few kilos while I'm away. But always remember that in that short period of time, it's not easy for your body to suddenly lay down fat. What is often happening, the reason that maybe if you get on the scales and you weigh yourself and you're looking at the fat, it seems to have gone up quite a bit. It's because your body is holding on to things. It could be fluids, it could be toxins, things that it's not normal for your body to have. And so it's in that short period of time that is just showing how your body is reacting to something. So getting back into a routine, and your body will start to adjust itself. So don't worry and think, oh my goodness, I've been away and I seem to have put on a lot of weight. If you get back into a routine, it's really going to help your body to go back into the balance it was before. So why does routine matter for your mind and body connection? Well, the first thing is talking about what you're choosing to put into your body, and you're the only person that can make that decision, what you choose to eat, what you choose to drink. The first thing that's going to happen is that it's going to enter into your digestive system, which is also known as your gut. It's also known as your gastrointestinal tract, all these different names for it, but it is actually the same thing. We have this gut and this brain connection. So in our gut, the lining of our digestive tract, we have lots of neurons, and those neurons are going to send messages to the neurons that we have in our brain. So what we eat can actually affect how we think and how we feel. The other thing about our mind and body connection is that 70% of our immune system actually resides in our gut as well. So depending on what we're doing, is if we are out of balance down to what we're choosing to eat and drink, it can also have an effect on how we're thinking, how we're feeling. But not only that, our brain is our supercomputer, and all 10 systems of our body are all connected. So the supercomputer, the brain, is actually the part of our body that is controlling everything that is going on within our body and has an effect on our bodily systems. So getting back into routine can help us in two ways with that: how we're thinking, how we're feeling, as well as how our body is digesting things. And then, of course, when we're thinking about consistency is important to have these consistent habits. And if we have these consistent habits, it's going to help us for long-term results. And especially as what we're focusing on now is our health and well-being. As I've said, consistency is key. And when we're looking at getting back to basics, the first thing I want to think about is the compound effect. So what the compound effect is, it's about doing small, consistent actions that can lead to significant results over a period of time. Now, from a business point of view, we sometimes talk within Forever about touching our business every day, being connected to our business and having those daily business habits. But the same thing is going to apply to what we're choosing to eat and how we're choosing to nourish our body. When we're looking at taking supplements, and that's of course what we're going to be focusing on in this particular training, is about marrying the idea of taking your supplements to get the results. So daily consistent intake is going to make sure that your body is going to receive the nutrients it needs on a regular basis. And that, of course, is going to allow for our body to be able to use those nutrients at its optimal level. You see, some of the things that we need to understand is that it's not good to think that I'm going to do take things on a Monday and then do something for 3 or 4 days, or take things for a week or 2 weeks, or even think, oh my goodness, I feel like my body's really run down, and absolutely overload yourself with far too many supplements in one go. So when you're looking at the supplement amount that you have on the pot, that is the optimum amount that is suggested to take on a regular basis. And when you look at the supplements, they are being put into pots or sachets with the amount that is on the side to say what it is suggested to take on a daily basis. So most of the supplements that we do are put into pots for 30 days. So it's like a month's supply. Some things are slightly different from time to time. So you're better to take what it's suggesting rather than thinking, oh, I'm just going to take loads on a Monday and then because I haven't got time to take it for the rest of the week. Now, why is that? Is because to have a steady supply into your body, then your body can use them. If you look at vitamins such as vitamins A, C, and E, they are classed as being water-soluble nutrients. And what that means is that they flush out of your body on a daily basis. So they're things that you need to be topping up with every single day. The other thing to look at is having a broader health strategy. And it's just a little bit like doing exercise. It's about having the consistency to have the long-term effects. And when we're thinking about getting our body into habits, it's like everything. We need to get our body and our mind to be able to know what is expected. So it takes 3 weeks to change a habit, and it takes 3 weeks to formulate a new habit. And that is really important to make sure that you are focusing on understanding that until you get to those 3 weeks, your body and your mind, they're just not connecting into remembering how to do these things. What is interesting as well is that, just as an example, when I wake up in the morning, I always have some hot water and lemon. I've got a hair right on my face. There we go, found it. Hot water and lemon every morning. And when I wake up in the morning, my body and my mind is absolutely craving for it. I can't wait to have my hot water and lemon. So my body is waiting for it. And that is how you want to get into, by supporting what your body is expecting to have. So the first product that we're going to be focusing on is getting those daily habits, your daily foundation, is of course going to be our flagship product. And that is the Forever Aloe Vera Drinking Gel. So taking it back to basics and talking to you about the benefits of drinking aloe vera is something that is going to repeating it over and over again and saying what I say over and over again, because as we say, habits, they don't change, they stay the same. So the first thing about the aloe vera gel, the plain gel, this doesn't have anything added into it. It's 99.7% pure aloe vera. And the pure aloe vera literally has that 0.3% that is missing from that 100% comes from citric acid, which is kind of the same thing that you get in, imagine lemon juice. And the easiest way to describe how that kind of works, or why do we put that into the product, is if you take a cut apple, or you take avocado, or you take banana, and you're making a fruit salad, that to stop the oxidization from those particular ingredients going black or brown, if you just squeeze lemon juice over the top, that is going to slow down the oxidation process of when the air has got to the cut apple. So the idea of the citric acid is kind of the same thing. How do we produce our product is important right from the beginning, because we want to make sure that what is packed into that container is the best aloe possible. Because if you give your body the best aloe, it is about having something that is so nutrient dense. I always say, whatever you're choosing to put into your mouth, it makes total sense to make sure it is packed with as much as you possibly can. Because if you're going to go through the whole process and all the time and the effort and energy, because it takes a lot of energy to eat and drink, because your whole bodily systems have to get to work, it's like a whole factory conveyor belt system, is that why not make sure you're packed with the most? So the first thing that Forever do is they take the aloe, the little baby pups, the aloe pups, and they are selected by hand. And that makes sure that they are the best they possibly can be. So it's a little bit like if you're deciding to do your garden and you are putting some, maybe earlier in the year, you're putting bedding plants in for the summer, or you are doing your hanging baskets, whatever. It's exactly the same thing, is that when you're taking your little plants and you're looking at them, you want to make sure that they're not diseased. You're making sure that they look healthy before you actually plant them. It's exactly the same thing. Then they are grown in places like the Dominican Republic, but our aloe fields are certified organic. And what we do is we make sure that the soil is the best it can be. We've got the right amount of water. We've also got the right amount of sunshine. And that's why we grow our aloe in the Dominican Republic. And aloe vera doesn't like frost. So that area of the world is actually frost free. Now, it's growing, and the aloe plants need to get to around about 5 years. And that is the maturity. So we want to get the maturity, so we're allowing the nutrients to really start to build within the aloe plants. And that's why when people ask you, well, I can go to the supermarket, or I can go to the garden centre and I can buy an aloe plant there, what's the difference? Well, obviously that little aloe plant that you've got, and you've got it on your kitchen window, or you've got it in your bathroom, that it has not had the right soil, sunshine and water. And so even though it looks like an aloe plant, and it is an aloe plant, the gel inside the leaf is not potent with all the nutrients that we need it to be to have an effect on the body. Now, aloe vera contains this whole cocktail of nutrients, and that is what we're looking for. So with these nutrients, we have over 75 different nutrients. We have vitamins A, C, and E. We have magnesium, calcium, all these different things that our body needs. But the power comes from the fact that not looking at, let's say, vitamin E in isolation, or vitamin A in isolation, or calcium in isolation, because if you look at it in isolation, it's such a tiny, 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 tiny amount. What you've got to do is look at the synergistic effect of how all those nutrients work together. Now, that is the power of the fact that they all like each other. They all have a part to play. So imagine it's a bit like a jigsaw puzzle. And we could say that this jigsaw puzzle has 75 pieces. Okay, so to make the whole picture in the jigsaw puzzle, that every single piece counts, but when they're all put together, that's when you create the picture. And I think that's how it's a really easy way to understand how we have this synergistic effect of them all working together. But there's also a very important, when you're talking about aloe vera, we talk about the Aloe barbadensis Miller. So you will find it really interesting to do some research yourself. You can find all of that about the Aloe barbadensis Miller. And one of the key ingredients that you get in there is actually the ace-mannin. Now, the ace-mannin is a kind of a sugar, you might say, not sugar like you get refined sugar, but it's a polysaccharide. And this is the power of them all working together. So when we talk about drinking aloe vera, which is preservative free, we use an aseptic process, which basically means that when the aloe is taken from the fields, within hours after it's been taken out of the leaves, it's taken by hand, within hours when it has been collected, it has this like a heat steam treatment where there's any pathogens, any nasties are kind of dealt with, and they're kind of killed off. So the temperature is high enough to kill those off, but not too high to destroy the nutrient content. So what you are left with forever is this really, really nutrient dense but active aloe, so those nutrients can work together. And that is why when we're talking to people about drinking aloe vera, is that we can say, well, who do you know who wants to have great looking skin? They want to have great hair, they want to have great nails. Who doesn't want to have a healthy digestive system? And who wants to have a great immune system? You don't want to feel tired, you want to have energy. Who loves to be active? In fact, who wants to just feel the best that they can be? And it's because of the nutrients in aloe synergistically working together in the way that Forever has preserved it, preservative free, but preserved it with the aseptic process. You are getting what your body can use. But the important thing is that you're giving your body that shot of aloe every single day. So if you're not taking it every single day, then you're not going to get the benefits, the daily benefits. And that is the key. So people will say, well, when to take it and how much to take it. The best time to take it is in the morning. And I'm going to talk about that later as we come to the end of this little training. And how much to take? Well, you have to remember that we don't have to do this. It's not a medicine. We don't have to give a particular dose, but a suggested amount is somewhere between 60 to 120 mils a day. Okay, that is what's suggested. If you want to drink more, drink more. Some of you will be aware that if you do the Clean 9, the C9 that the company does, that while you're on that program, it's suggested to drink a lot more aloe. So don't ever think you can't drink more aloe. So the best time is in the morning. I'll talk about that later. But the key is consistency. You're a lot better to drink a little bit every day than a whole amount in one day. And that goes for everything that when we're talking about our nutrients. Now, when we talk about the nutrients and the rich source of vitamin C, what you have to remember with that is that we have added some extra vitamin C, and the vitamin C obviously is coming in the form of the citric acid with the vitamin C. And because we've added vitamin C, we can actually talk a little bit more about vitamin C in isolation, because there is more vitamin C than anything else in there. And vitamin C in its own right has many, many benefits. Okay, so the next one is to talk about is the Forever Daily. And I like to call this your nutritional safety net. And I suppose really when we're talking about a nutritional safety net, it's more to do with thinking about, I like to call it my insurance policy, because I know if I take my Forever Daily, then I know it doesn't matter what is happening with my day, I know that I have given my body the basic amount of what it needs to function. So there is a comprehensive amount of vitamins and minerals and other nutrients that have been put together to fill the nutritional gaps that you may have in your diet. So a nutritional gap or nutritional gaps is where you may be putting less nutrients into your body than is required for optimal health. And when we're talking about the amount that is needed, it is measured in something called the basic recommendation of your RDA, and that is your recommended daily allowance or a recommended daily amount. So what you're having by taking the 2 tablets a day, it will give you 100% of the recommended daily amount for the nutrients that you have in there. Now, of course, when it comes to the filling the nutritional gaps, you may find that you're not getting what you want because it can be down to maybe picky eaters or having a limited amount of food or variety of food. And it's quite interesting when we're talking about routines, but sometimes routines can work in the negative way, not a positive way. So if you're somebody that has a routine of having the same thing to eat on a Monday, having dinner or your evening meal on a Monday and a Tuesday and a Wednesday, etc., and you're giving your body exactly the same thing, and maybe you're having exactly the same thing for breakfast every day. If you're at work, if you're taking exactly the same thing for lunch, so it's the same cheese sandwich and the same packet of crisps or whatever you do, then that is also may have an effect of not giving your body variety. So you may be missing out on essential nutrients. And variety really is the spice of life. So it's a really good idea to kind of make some changes and do some different kind of lunches and change what you're having, maybe from if you're putting onto your plate, we talk about having your carbohydrates, your proteins and your fats. Think about a different kind of protein that you might be having in your sandwich or for your lunch, varying it depending on what you eat. Same thing with kind of your carbohydrates, your fruits and vegetables, and also your starchy carbs, your bread, your rice, your pasta. If you change it, you will get different kind of minerals, vitamins and minerals in the different kinds of food. So that could be why you might be need to fill the nutritional gap. Another thing is ultra or just processed foods. If there is quite a lot of processed foods in somebody's diet, that also means that the processed foods are overriding the nutritional content. It might be down to busy lifestyles, always on the go, maybe not being able to kind of get that regular amount of nutritional support into your body. And also could be that being on a restrictive diet. It could be because it's a fad diet or certain eating patterns, whatever you're choosing to do. So that's what we mean about filling a nutritional gap. Then we have this AOS complex, which is an exclusive complex, which is from Forever. So it's a combination, let me just move my little cursor, a combination of aloe, vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and also polysaccharides. So when I was talking about the important things like the ACE-mannan, that is a polysaccharide. Now, what AOS stands for is aloe oligosaccharides. You go, oh my goodness, what is that? Aloe oligosaccharides. Well, AOS is actually the fiber that you get from aloe vera. And fiber is food for your digestive tract, where we have all our healthy bacteria. And healthy bacteria that we have in our guts, in our digestive tract, is called our microbiome. And this healthy bacteria feeds on fiber. So what we are doing with this product, each of those little tablets is coated with this fiber, this AOS over the top of it. So it means that every time you take the tablets, you are giving your healthy bacteria some food. And then on top of that, we have another blend, which is called the FVX20 blend. And this is a blend of 20 different fruits and vegetables, and taken extracts from those fruits and vegetables, and they have been ripened on the vine. So they are absolutely packed with nutrients. So that is how we operate. We always take the best source, and then we take the extracts that we need to make sure that we're getting the nutrients in a dense form within our body. And then the third product is our Forever Absorbent D. And this is a really, really easy and simple way to top up your requirements for vitamin D. Now you can see on the right side of the screen just a little bit of information about taking vitamin D and some of the challenges that we have with not getting vitamin D into our body. So one of the challenges that we have, and I've put here like the UK, but also Ireland as well, or also in Iceland, areas of the world where we're actually placed is where we don't get enough sunlight. And between the months of approximately October to March, we don't, with the UVB rays, we are not strong enough for our skin to produce vitamin D, because vitamin D is actually manufactured on our skin. So what happens, the rays will touch our skin, and then by touching our skin, they will be manufactured. We have oil on our skin, and then the vitamin D is manufactured and it is carried down into our body, and then it goes to our liver where we can actually start to use it. So with that in mind, because of where we live, and through half of the year, as you can see, it's just not strong enough. That's one of the challenges. Another might be down to lifestyle. So lifestyle means if we're not getting out in the sun enough, if it could be someone is indoors, it could be covering up the skin when you're outdoors, not getting the sun onto your face, onto your body. It could be the way that you work. It could be the fact that you may be a shift worker, you're doing nights and sleeping during the day. And another thing, yes, we need to protect our skin from UVBs and UVAs, which are the aging and the burning rays. We know we mustn't overdo that. However, that if you're putting a lot of sunblock on, that does exactly what the name says. It's blocking out the rays. Whereas when you're using an SPF, like we have with our products, the Protecting Day Lotion, that we are protecting by making sure that some of it goes onto our skin, but we are reflecting away quite a lot. So we still are getting other manufacture on our skin. So sunblock will actually stop all of that, and we don't want to stop the manufacture onto our skin. It can also be down to lack of vitamin D that we're getting in our diet. So vitamin D comes from things like oily fish, like salmon, It also comes from egg yolk, and you can also get vitamin D in a small amount in mushrooms, but also fortified foods and cereals is another way you can get vitamin D. So if you're not kind of getting out in the sun, if you're somebody that's a shift worker, if you're not eating those kind of foods in your diet, then you can see that your vitamin D levels will go down. And then, of course, we have what we call our risk group. So risk group, first of all, ladies that are pregnant or breastfeeding, obviously, it's not just down to looking after yourself. You're also responsible for a growing baby or a newborn baby that obviously will be taking from you. It could be older adults. Older adults, it's known from the age of 65 plus, just means that our body can't manufacture vitamin D so readily. If you have darker skin, the darker your skin is, the more melanin that you have in your skin. So melanin is the natural pigmentation that we get in our skin. And that is a natural sun protection, which is great, but it also means that you are not being able to manufacture vitamin D so readily. It could be people that are housebound, can't get out and about, or the elderly in care homes. Could be covering your skin for cultural reasons, and certain medication can actually have an effect on not allowing your body to manufacture vitamin D so readily. And as you can see on the screen, the NHS recommendation is to have 10 micrograms. So that strange little like back to front U in the G is 10 micrograms of vitamin D daily, particularly during the autumn and winter. So where can we get our 10 micrograms from? Our wonderful Forever Absorbent D. It tastes amazing. It's chewy, so people have a challenge swallowing tablets. You don't have to worry about that. It's sweet tasting from the fruit of the prickly pear. It also has the antioxidant vitamin E with it, and it is a great little supplement that you can take to support your body's bone health, immune function, overall well-being, but also mood regulation, because these are some of the areas that vitamin D will support you in. So bringing it all together as we finish the training is that, first of all, let's talk about your morning ritual, and then start your day by drinking your aloe vera. Now, why drink it in the morning? The best time to drink it is in the morning before you have anything else. And the reason for that is that because you haven't been eating or drinking as you've been sleeping, is that when you look at our stomach, you have part of the digestive system. And as soon as you start to drink something or eat something, then everything has to pass through your stomach, first of all. And you have these two little, like say, trap doors, one at the beginning and one at the end. And when there's stuff in your stomach, they close. So things can be churned and the digestive enzymes are starting to do their job. We know that it's hydrochloric acid in the stomach, and that's all to kind of start breaking down foods. But when there's no action, those little trap doors are left open. Now, because you are drinking aloe and it doesn't need to be broken down like you would if you were eating, let's say, a cheese sandwich. I already mentioned cheese sandwich, I'll say it again. We don't need to close the trapdoors. Things will go through very, very quickly. So it's getting into your body really, really quickly if you're not actually been using your digestive system beforehand. So that is the main reason that you would drink it in the morning. However, if you're somebody that just for whatever reason finds it, I have to have my cup of tea in the morning before I can get my leg out the bed or whatever it is, please don't think I can't drink my aloe now. It is better to drink your aloe at a time to suit you than not drink it at all. But if you wanted to know the optimal time, first thing in the morning. Otherwise, as long as you're getting into your body consistently, that is the key. You might be somebody like myself, I have it first thing in the morning, but then also I have another shot before I go to bed. And I like to give my body a shot of aloe before I go to bed, because while my body is calm and sleeping and not having to deal with anything else digestively, my body can absorb that and use the goodness from the aloe then. Take your Forever Daily. Forever Daily and some supplements are a lot better to be taken with a meal. So take your daily with your breakfast. That's a really good thing to do. I actually have a shake in the morning. In my shake, I add lots and lots of different things. So I take my Forever Daily alongside my morning shake. And then don't forget to take your Absorbent D as well. Once again, you take that in the morning. So always remember that we need to have a holistic approach. It's about making sure that we are eating a healthy, well-balanced diet. We're drinking plenty of water, 6 to 8 glasses of water. We're getting some exercise. We are getting out in the sun, and then taking our nutrients and our supplements alongside that. And that just leaves me to wish you all an opportunity to call to action, to ready to reclaim your well-being routine and just getting back on track. And really, it is as simple as 1, 2, 3. Thank you for tuning in. And don't forget, as always, that from the beginning of August, all the different things that you need to support you to be able to promote these products are going to be available from the company. So watch out for everything that's going to help you to be successful and move your business forward. But also, don't forget, it always starts with you. Get yourself back on track into routine, taking these 3 products, and then you'll find it a lot easier to be able to share the products and the results with others. Thank you for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you again soon.